Assalamu alaikum, Internet. Welcome to How to Play Sonic CD Part 1, Wacky Workbench. That's right, we're getting the big one out of the way first. I'm gonna teach you how to turn this complicated stage into something you can consistently beat in under 30 seconds. Every player of the 2011 version of Sonic CD knows that the mishmash of platform RNG crisscrossed with the bench cycles made this a frustrating run killer that drove players insane. So first I'm going to explain to you why this solid route that players should have been able to rely on is something you'll almost never see in a full game playthrough of CD11, which is the 2011 version of Sonic CD. In CD93, the 1993 version of Sonic CD, these platforms are not RNG. This is the prime cycle of Wacky Workbench 1. This is where the platforms would be if there was no platform RNG. But the moment you start Palm Tree Panic 1 in CD11, these platforms are moving on a global timer, and by the time you get to Wacky Workbench, you have no idea where they'll be. When that platform is there, it lets you enter this tube switch at the 950 mark. When you enter that tube switch at the 950 mark, this bench is still on and can bounce you onto this platform, which you pray to God is here. And then you bonk this wall, and normally you'd have been able to fall right onto the left side of the launcher, which would launch you. But in CD11, landing on the left side of the launcher does not launch you. It bounces you back up. And then these yellow blocks are tied to a cycle attached to the in-game timer. So we know where they're going to be based on the timer. But these platforms being RNG, that really throws you off because one of these platforms can catch you, or they caught you earlier and they put you on a wrong timer, and then you get the launcher and you just launch straight into one of these yellow blocks and it bonks you. This bench bounces you up, and you're going to have a bad time. But ideally, you launch right onto this floating platform, and you look at where it is contrasting to where this ceiling is. And once it's at the right spot, all you have to do is spin dash to the right and hold forward for the rest of the level. The reason you don't see players take advantage of this, however, is because right here, all that RNG that happened earlier, if you still tried to force this trick to work, like let's say we were 2 seconds later, the platform RNG delayed us by 2 seconds. Not a big deal, right? We can take a 31. This bench is going to turn off while you're bouncing on it because the platform RNG has crisscrossed with the stage cycles to give your route extra RNG. And if that bench turns off while you're doing that pattern, you get tossed up to the ceiling. Now, Tails has a much easier time with this stage. He can bypass most of the platform RNG by flying over the beginning here, and that lets him always get in this tube switch early enough for the bench to be on, but he doesn't even need the bench to be on. He just gets to fly twice, and he's bypassed that RNG too. And then he waits here for that platform to be at the right spot, and then he just jumps there and holds right for the rest of the stage. Short, simple, sweet. But even then, platform RNG can throw a V-spin platform in your face right here. And this is the end for a lot of players. But it's really not that big of a deal because as long as Tails watches where he is on the V-spin platform, he can keep going. You just have to make sure that you're on the right side of the V-spin platform because it's going to toss you to the right when you jump off. Even if you're holding right, if you're on the left side of a V-spin platform, it'll toss you to the left. You just jump off on the right side, fly, you ignore the yellow blocks, and you land on the platform that you were aiming for the whole time. It doesn't matter where the RNG has put this, you're just going to wait for it to line up with the ceiling in the right way, pause buffer to make sure, you spin dash to the right, and then hold right. Given the insanity that this stage can be for Sonic, that's really not so bad for Tails. So let me go over that route a little bit slower and in detail. These first two jumps are now the hardest part of the stage. When we jump to those two yellow blocks, we can rely on them being there. As long as we hit those first two jumps in the stage, those yellow blocks will be there. These platforms will be here. You roll on it to slow yourself down. You hold left. Don't touch the past sign. And when you bounce up there, you want to aim for the platform on the right. When you land on the platform on the right, it doesn't matter where you are on the platform, you just hold right and you'll get the right bounce pattern over here for you to do a single tap spin dash the moment you land on this platform. Jump the frame you land on this platform. I prefer to do a piano jump where you roll your finger from C to B to A. When I roll my thumb from C to B to A or A to B to C, I prefer to do it with the first button while Sonic is still in the air, and then the second button when he lands on the platform. And this gives my jump 3 chances to come out if my timing was slightly off. Piano jumping is an essential tool to any Sonic player. And then we're gonna go over to this platform. We stop here. We charge a spin dash, a single tap spin dash, and we just wait for this bench to be off. And that's going to land us right in the launcher. Now we hold neutral, and neutral is when you hold nothing on the D-pad at all. You can also hold down or up or whatever makes you comfortable. But we want to make sure we're not holding anything when we land here on the bench. So then we look at where the platform is above, and we already know where it's going to be because we took the bottom route. That's always going to give us this cycle where we pop right up, and we're going to land on the platform and spin dash right away. And much like the other strategy, we get to hold right for a while here, but when you land on this part of the bench, you want to tap left right here. You just have to tap it. You don't have to hold it much or anything like that. You just tap it, and then you can hold forward again. You jump there because sometimes this yellow block can bonk you. It's rare, but it can bonk you, so we're just jumping over it to be safe. Preferably you do a short hop. I did a full jump, but you're still going to be safe because a lot of the collision is fixed in Sonic CD Restore. The bottom route may seem daunting, but it's extremely consistent once you learn it. So now I'll show you guys the bottom route as we've been doing it on streams lately. If you tune into any of the current Sonic CD players' streams, you'll probably see them doing the route like this. It starts the same as the last video, and then when we get here, we don't hold neutral and go to the bad future. We don't want to settle for a 27-second time, so we're going to hold right there, and we're just going to keep holding right this whole time. We know the bench is going to be off, and we know that holding right will put us on this V-spin platform. We let us face to the right by the time we jump off. And it lands us right here on this platform where we're already holding up to charge a super peel out. You charge the super peel out until this platform is right here. You want this platform to be higher than this platform, so it changes Sonic's trajectory. As soon as Sonic passes this platform, we're going to tap left. So we tap left right there, and then if this was CD11, all you needed to do was just tap left right there, and you'll finish the stage real quick. You'll bounce off the bench, bonk the ceiling, and then you just hold right from there. But in CDR, we have the CD93 physics. Shoutouts to Ralakimus, or Devon as he's known. He compiled a ton of CD93, and he was able to convert the CD93 physics code into RetroScript to run on the RSDK engine. So that's how we know Sonic CD Restored is actually running with the 1993 physics. And so when Sonic bounces here, we have to tap back a second time. We just tap it as quick as we can. We don't tap it twice. We don't hold it down. You just bounce and tap the same frame. Let's do it again so we can see it in motion. And that can be done a little faster. We time warped at a 25.13, and that is according to where we released the super peel out. If we had released a frame perfect super peel out, we would get a 25.05, and any earlier than that, we probably would have missed the platform and not gotten our trick done. A very easy, reliable 26-second time you get there. But you might be saying, Ouija, I want a 26, even with the reliability of going to the bad future at the end of the level. Isn't there something I can do to do that? And the answer to that question is yes. In fact, there is. So we're gonna go to the bad future here. And when we get bounced up here and we tap left, we're actually gonna charge a drop dash. You charge the drop dash, you get a 26.25. The Sonic Origins added the drop dash. Sonic CD Restored got to carry the drop dash over, and it is coded with the code from Sonic Mania. Since we have access to the decompiled Sonic Mania scripts, we're able to convert that drop dash code over into Sonic CD exactly the same as it was in Mania. Easy, solid, simple. Now, I know a lot of you guys are sitting there saying, Ouija, that bottom route's ridiculous. I'm never going to do that. Well, the good news is you can do the top route too. You do the first two jumps, same as usual, hardest part of the stage. And when we get to this part of the platform, we just continue holding right. You hold right the whole time. And since we don't have platform RNG anymore, we know we've got the prime cycle. We're going to land right on this platform, grab these free rings, jump up here, and we're going to charge a 6-tap spin dash and hop over the second piston. Okay, a 9-tap spin. And when we enter this tube switch by 9.50, we know that this bench is going to be on, and we're going to continue our prime cycle. Bonk. And when we jump over here, we know we can bonk this wall and just hold neutral the whole way. As long as you're not holding anything, you will fall right onto that launcher and get launched. And we'll still be on the prime cycle. We can tap left and land on that platform and spin dash to the right if we want the safe 27. Or we can carefully bonk this ceiling, land on this yellow block, bonk the wall, and then charge a super peel out here and do the back tap. Tap, tap. Alright, so let's show you guys a drop dash centric wacky workbench route. We're going to take our first 2 jumps as normal. Got to be very familiar with them by now. And when we get here, we're just going to hold right and go out onto the bench as normal. And that gives us a drop dash charge. As long as we didn't roll onto the bench, we have a drop dash charge from the last time we jumped. We charge up the drop dash, land on this platform, jump after the 3 rings because we do not want that future sign. Spin dash over the pistons. And now here's the tricky part. As soon as we connect with that bench, we need to charge another drop dash. So what I do is I piano ABC for when I hit that bench. And hopefully A, B, or C was after I made contact with that bench. And now we're charging the drop dash in time. And then we have to pause buffer as soon as we're off of the bench. We know the bench is going to be off there, and that's why we can drop dash onto it. If we get this pause frame, we can hold left and go onto the launcher. Ideally, I would have liked a pause frame where Sonic was over this light, but as long as you're here, here, or here, holding back will work, and you'll be launched on your way. Hold neutral, and as you don't have to tap left or right, you just start holding down on your way down and do a single tap spin dash to the right. Now we're going to continue on like usual from the first time I showed you guys the drop dash. Usually you'll get like a 26.50 here. It's like a quarter of a second slower than the bottom route. And it can be a little tricky because of that second drop dash. And so the bottom route is still the fastest and most consistent way to get through here. Now I'm going to show you guys what I've personally been doing in my runs lately. We open with the first 2 jumps like usual. We're going on the bottom route like usual. I actually got a slightly different cycle than typical here because I was going faster than usual. And when you spin dash on the first available frame after the title card, you won't land on this block like usual. You'll land on this block instead. Luckily, it's all the same patterns of movement on your controller, so it's still safe, and you just jump off of that platform like usual. You spin dash there, land on the bench. It's all the same stuff we've gone over so far. Single tap spin dash, piano jump, hold forward, and this is where things are different. Instead of doing a 1-tap spin dash when we know the bench is off, we're going to charge up a super peel out, and we know the duration of charging that will give us the timing for the bench to be off. And the super peel out also lets you run a little bit faster than the launcher, if I recall. But the real reason we're doing the super peel out instead of going onto the launcher is so we can piano jump off of this yellow block. The reason we're doing a piano jump is because we're only on this block for a few frames. You start that piano right when you think you're on it, maybe a frame before you think you're on it, and you'll always get that jump. You're on it enough frames that you always get the jump. You do like a mid to short hop, a shorter hop than a full jump. Otherwise, you land on that platform. You don't want to land on that platform. You just do the piano jump, then you let go of the jump buttons. And then you hold left, and you'll get bounced up right to that ceiling. You land on this yellow block, you jump to this yellow block, and then you jump to this platform where you're gonna charge up a super peel out right away, and you're gonna let that super peel out go the moment you're in the peel out frames. As soon as you're in the peel out frames, you piano a jump when you release your peel out. And you're pianoing the jump because you want that jump the first frame the peel out is released. And then you pause when you land on the bench because you're going to land on the bench in a different spot almost every time, and you need to know what you're going to do. Now, this is the perfect spot to land, so all we're going to do is keep holding forward. But the pause buffer lets us know that we just keep holding forward. All right, so let's go over that same route again. We'll show you it in real time. And we'll show you a more typical spot that you might land off of that ending super peel out jump. All right. So here on that pause frame, I know that I landed right here. And when you land there, you need to start air braking by the time you're where Sonic is right now. So I know that I can do an air brake here, and then I pause buffer there an extra time to let myself just gauge if I want to keep air braking. And I saw that on that pause frame, I had air braked enough. I switched back to holding forward. That lets us land on the yellow block and then that platform, and we get a 25-23. Smooth and fast. All right, you guys have seen that route a few times. So I'm just starting in the middle with it. You know what's going to happen. We're doing a super peel out jump. Maybe we jumped a frame or two too early. So now we see that we bounce here, and we've connected with that set of moving blocks instead of bonking our head on the ceiling. Now, I've done the pause buffer to check what happened, and when I see that I'm on the moving blocks instead of on the ceiling, I know that I can jump off of this yellow block, and I charge up a drop dash, and I finish the stage just as fast. Alright, so I want to show you guys just what to do if this setup fails you and you're like, oh crap, oh no, I didn't bonk the ceiling. This is not a place you want to be. But you pause buffer here. You can pause buffer earlier than this, just repause around here. And what you're going to want to do is hold left here and then piano jump on those moving blocks. And that's going to save your run. Charge up a drop dash. And you still can make it through. It's a tight spot to be in, but you can do it. Last but not least, this is an important trick that you should know how to do. It saved me in a race once. I got bonked up to that ceiling, and I completely mismanaged my inputs. And I was able to charge a super peel out just in time here. And you want to pause buffer until you see that Sonic's hand is right here. His thumb over that black line. That's the most bottommost black line. and you're standing right in the middle of the yellow block and use Sonic's thumb right over that black line with a fully charged peel out, you can save your run if you accidentally muffed your inputs, and now you're trapped here. This is normally an IL trick, an individual level trick. If you're just trying to do an individual level over and over and over again, this is a trick you can do to get a really good time. You don't typically do it in a beat the game run, but you should know it for a beat the game in case you get trapped on this block for any reason. Blam. And before we move on from Sonic to Tails, just what if I miss this platform? Well, if you miss that platform and you're still holding right, you have a 50-50 chance of getting this bounce pattern that will still put you on this platform. You'll be too late to do your 1-tap spin dash setup, so what you do instead is a 3-tap spin dash jump. And you hold jump the whole time, you hold forward the whole time, you'll land on that platform, then you'll land on this platform, and your run will be saved. And let's hop right into Tails. Tails has some of the most consistent Wacky Workbench routes in the game. And of course by that I mean the bottom route. Just copies right over from Sonic to Tails. Don't need to change a thing in the present. Spin dash right over to the bad future. The only thing you need to be aware of is when you bonk that ceiling, you tap fly. 27 every time. And the good news about Tails is, even the top route is super consistent and free. He doesn't even need to fly anymore. You just take Sonic's top route. And then when you pop out here, tap fly once. And as long as you got over to that tube switch in time, that'll work every time. Hold neutral here. You tap right once when you land on this platform. Not as consistent as the bottom routes. Gotta adjust Tails' position because he'll be in his balance animation. Then you spin dash to the right, go to the bad future. Tap fly. And there you go. Alright, now you just might be wondering, since those first two routes are so consistent, what about the current Sonic route you've been doing? Does that apply to Tails? And no. You hop over there like usual, you bust out a spin dash, and spin dash RNG nearly almost always puts us above the moving block. But if we do get to bonk the ceiling like that, it puts us in a state where we have to pause buffer like crazy, and that fly trick I just did is extremely important for Tails to get over there and hit the bench at the right spot to pass this moving block. And it has to be a frame perfect fly. You can't fly a couple frames earlier or later than that. And now we need to pause buffer some extremely precise air braking and switching between holding forward and air braking. And then we have to tap fly again frame perfectly to be able to finish the stage of the 25. Don't ever do it in a run. Now, Amy's a really interesting character when it comes to Wacky Workbench. Normally, she's much easier than Sonic or Tails and has backups upon backups, can get just as fast or faster times than them because of her double jump being so overpowered and for having the CD spin dash, which is just like getting a perfect spin dash every time for free. But since she doesn't have a one-tap spin dash like Sonic and Tails do, she can't start the stage with the right cycle to do the bottom route properly. And she can't do the top route properly either. So she has some cycle tricks that let her pull off a different set of routes here. And her top route is the most consistent. And we're pause buffering here because we want to release her spin dash between 12.45 and 12.80 seconds. There is some slack frames there. I'm using those numbers to be safe. But when you release the spin dash there at those seconds, the bench will be off when you land here. You want the bench to be off. You want to land on this platform, and it's still important which frame we jump at on this platform. We want to jump in the middle of the platform, maybe towards the right side of the middle, and we're going to bonk the wall here or land directly on the launcher. It's going to be a low bonk. But basically, once you get to about here, you just hold neutral on the D-pad. You'll either land right on the launcher and get launched, or you'll bonk and get launched. And then it's very important that she jump on this frame. When you see Amy behind these 3 bars, you jump when she's behind the second 2 bars. See? Jump. And then you're going to land on this moving block. The important thing to know here is that you cannot piano this jump with Amy. It will cause you to double jump, and then you'll be in trouble. You have to make sure that you land first, then you do a full jump and hold right. Do not double jump, you'll hop over to where the generator. And as long as you do this full jump and you hold right, you get to just hold right. Just keep holding right, and you'll bonk that wall. And then you can charge your spin dash. And then you do the spin dash jump, you bonk the ceiling, and it's just like Sonic. Pause here. See, she got the good bounce. You just hold right for the rest of the stage. 29 seconds. All right, so now let's take a look at that route without pause buffering through it. Doesn't matter what strategy you take to get up there. Just wait until 1250. Release your spin dash. Bench will be off. Jump, jump. Bonk. Spin dash. Pause buffer. Air brake here. And that's what you get if you get a perfect air brake there. Like with this setup, you know you bounced here. If you do your air brakes just right, you will pass the yellow block and that moving platform, and you'll bounce there and still get a really good time. For Amy, that really good time is 29 seconds or 29:36. So I'm just gonna re-watch this route, even though it's again the same setup at the beginning, where we just spin dash right into the wall because we know we can take our time. We leisurely run up this ramp. We just hold forward. It's just a chill route, right? We chill all the way over to here. We just check the time. We jump here, jump. And now we're gonna do it easy mode. Amy, on this cycle with 2720, we know that we can release the spin dash. Not here. We're going to wait. We wait until this platform is high enough that we don't touch it. And this platform's going backwards. And then we're going to release where we know we're not going to touch this platform and the bench is going to be off. And we hold right for the rest of the stage. Get a free 34. We lose 5 seconds, but it always works. Can't get a more free finish than that. And Amy can actually do a bottom route. You charge half of a spin dash, you carefully jump over there, and then you grab all these rings, or just short of all of them, and then you double jump and land right there. And then we charge a spin dash here. And we should go under that block and jump off of this block. It's fairly precise. It's not guaranteed. But that lets you on your way for a much harder bottom route than Sonic and Tails have. You need to get this past sign as Amy. And then we're going you see this setup is not very wieldy for a CD spin dash. So we charge up a spin dash and we have to jump the very first frame that we release the spin dash. So you piano your jump. You press C when you let go of down and you roll your finger to BA. Give yourself 3 chances to get that jump out on the first frame. And then you release it. You do that jump. Yeah, when you let go of down, you press left. You don't press right. You release that spin dash holding left and mashing jump in a pianoing jump. And then you carefully guide Amy to thread her way through these platforms. You're going to bounce off the bench here, and now you just hold right. Bench is going to be off right away. You land on the launcher. You land on this yellow block and start charging a spin dash. Now you start pause buffering. You want a frame around here. Now, we're in the past. There's actually a fair bit of slack space for this pause. It can be within 4 frames probably. But we are looking at the bottom of the block. See it hopefully line up with this green-yellow line, right? And between 1 and 3 pixels of red is acceptable. There's more slack space if you're on the right. I'm not all the way on the right. There's room. It doesn't matter. You let go. You bounce off of that ring box. And when you're here, you start holding back. That makes you bounce off that shield box where you, once you're in the present, you hold right. You also get your double jump back in the present. So if that wasn't enough to get me into the safe area at the end of Wacky Workbench, I could have double jumped. Backups upon backups. All right, this time let's go through the bottom route without pause buffering. We'll also cover a faster way to end the route. Good pause frame. We're just gonna keep holding forward this time. And you do a double jump in the present. Like I was saying, you get a double jump back when you time warp. So we know we're in between where the 2 blocks are gonna be. And we don't quite want to touch the bench, even though the bench will be off. If we touch the bench, there's a chance we'll bonk this yellow block. But at that frame, we don't bonk the yellow block. We can double jump just fine. And so she can get 25s. They're just not as easy as Sonic and Tails. This is still what I do in the beat the game run. And if you want to do a really crazy route as Amy, we're gonna start the bottom route like normal here. We're not gonna get the past sign. And when you do your spin dash jump here, we're gonna land where we would land to go to the past. Bonk. But then we have a double jump. Hold neutral here, so you'll either land right on the launcher or you'll bonk the wall and then land on the launcher. You get a good cycle where you can just hold forward. And when you're holding forward here, now you press left. So you can land on the yellow block and charge up a spin dash. And you have to get this frame right here. You are looking for the yellow block to line up exactly like this on the background, where the bright green lines match up with the yellow block. And as long as Amy has charged up a full spin dash in the center of the block, you're going to get this bounce pattern. Oh no. We're going to bonk the wall and we're going to fail now. Oh. The ceiling is higher in the future. Sega had a plan. Now, if you guys have had a keen eye, you've noticed that both Sonic and Tails have had routes that get them 50 rings. So, it actually turns out that Wacky Workbench is one of the stages that you want to get those 50 rings and go get a time stone with. So, here's Amy's all time stones route, where she does the back tap. And she gets 50 rings just like that. You go to the special stage, you drink the special stage 7 Kool-Aid, you become funkified by the chill power, and you join our Sonic CD cult. And now, just for a bonus, I figured we would go over the All Good Futures route. We take the bottom route, we get the past sign, we do a single tap spin dash layer like usual, and when we do the single tap spin dash here, we jump over the future sign. And then we can bounce off of this bench right into that crevice where we take the red spring. And the shortcut from CD93 where we spin dash into the trapdoor is there. We bonk that wall. And this spin dash, this super peel out trick is actually important. If you ever can't set your footing properly, you do this super peel out. This works in the present, where you wait until this gets lower. If this is parallel with this, you can release the super peel out and just hold forward, and you'll get this bounce pattern, and then you charge up another super peel out, leave the stage. You'll get a high 27, and you use it here in the Good Future strategy for an easy 38. The last route I'm going to share with you guys today makes heavy use of triple tap spin dashes. When you do a triple tap spin dash, you want to press A, B, and C at the same time to get your triple tap out in the same time a one tap takes. So that's our first triple tap there, and it gives us a different bounce pattern where we time warp up there, we hit the B, we do another triple tap spin dash and another triple tap spin dash, and that gets us over to that platform in time. Otherwise, that platform's too high for us to jump to. We do a spin dash the moment we pop out of that tube, and that destroys the generator. We land on that V-spin platform and set up a super peel-out jump. We slow down and do a drop dash, and we finish the stage in 37:36. You omit the drop dash, Get another 38 or a 39.